What are some of the predictors that may be telling you you might be headed down the road to divorce? One is constant arguing with no way of resolution. This occurs when one or both parties can never get on the same page, whether that be with financials, with parenting, or otherwise. If you guys cannot sit down in the same room and resolve some of your conflicts, you may be heading down the road for divorce. One or both sides just may give up on communication. Then you have complete silence. And when you have a complete silence and you're no longer even willing to fight for your marriage, that may be a huge, huge precursor to divorce. Another reason that we see as a major predictor of divorce is finances. That can be bickering over the finances, disagreeing how the money is spent, having separate accounts, being secret about your money. All of these things are very predictive. If you and your spouse cannot have open and honest conversations of where you are financially currently and what your goals are, that could be a predictor of an impending divorce. Another predictor of divorce that we see quite a bit in our practice is financial secrecy. That can be hiding money, hiding your spending, opening up secret accounts, anything that you're trying to do to keep your financial picture away from your spouse. If you start doing that, that is a huge predictor of divorce. Another prediction of divorce is disagreement on how to parent the children. This can have to do with bedtimes, how much screen time they have, which sports they play, how they're raised as far as religiously or otherwise. If you and your spouse cannot get on the same page with a lot of these major issues and you're not willing to compromise or at least talk it through, this can also be a major predictor of divorce. Probably the biggest complaint we hear in our practice when it comes to divorce is a lack of intimacy. It could be just talking to one another, sharing your days, or it could be physical intimacy. Sometimes there's a lack of the physical intimacy, and then you'll see couples at first occasionally staying in separate rooms or occasionally sleeping on the couch. And that morphs into where they full on have separate living quarters in the home. A lot of times when you see this lack of intimacy in a marriage, and when we talk about how you end up sleeping in other rooms, it's almost like you become roommates as opposed to spouses. Once you get to the roommate stage, and I can speak from experience, I've had that before, things get very dry, very mundane. Nobody generally wants to be married to their roommate. And so when you see the roommate phase kind of kick off and continue, that's a very large predictor of a divorce. If you have any questions about what the top signs of divorce are, please give us a call. At Johnson Law Firm, we fight for families for a fresh start.